Hey guys, so actually I found a new spot and it's a fluffy one. Okay, so today we'll be looking at something scrumptious. It's me again, Kamsiyo Nneoma. I am here to shake some believing and doubting tables and of course come to a particular conclusion. So we'll be looking at how sperm works. And I just want to let us understand that most of the things we have heard about how sperm works, or most of the things we have heard about sperm, is wonderfully a big lie. Yes. So we'll be looking at, or we'll be highlighting how your sperm actually fertilizes an egg. Many of us believe that when a man doing sexual activity and your husband releases inside of you, ejaculate inside of you, that the sperm picks race and it's just like first come, first serve, and they start running and they start swimming towards an egg, and once they get to an egg, the first sperm that touches the egg, ding, fertilization, pregnancy. No, it doesn't work that way. Funny enough, the first sperm that even touches the egg can actually die. So I'm gonna break it down in the video. Then the second thing we're gonna be highlighting is there are some protein that are present in your sperm, brother. Now, those proteins are actually found in the head of the sperm. So now I just want us to do a brief anatomy here. So when we get into the body of the video, we won't have to do anatomy anymore. So now we have the head of the sperm, we have the midpiece, we have the tail. So now, the head is where the protein is stored, the middle piece is where the mitochondrial energy, the power structure of the whole sperm is found. And the midpiece, which is where the mitochondria is what propels the tail to keep swimming, propelling, and pushing. Now, if the midpiece is not available or is not present, that means such sperm is not really sperm. It's as good as non-functional. So now, another thing we'll be highlighting, like I said earlier, is we'll be looking at the protein present in a sperm. And I just want to give us a heads up right now. If the protein in the sperm is severely lacking or is lacking in an individual, in a man, that is where we find cases of infertility. And funny enough, many men are the reason why they are infertile, and many men are the reason why they have low sperm count. Yeah, I know you're like, what is she saying? What does she mean? So it's best, if you want to help yourself, you stay to the end of this video and you find out what you don't know. And another thing I'd like us to highlight is that sperm that you know of. Please, brethren, it doesn't swing like this. It doesn't wag its tail like this. No. And you can see the video on the screen. That is how the tail of a sperm propels it. That is how it goes in more like a drill motion. It goes in a drill motion. It doesn't wag its tail like a fish. No. Okay, so what happens during sexual intercourse? Everybody knows that during sexual intercourse, sperm is released. Yes, you got it. Sperm is released. And we know that when sperm is released, oxytocin is one of the hormones that are also released in a woman during sexual intercourse. And what oxytocin does at that moment is it kind of pushes the semen. Remember, the semen is the carrier of sperm. The semen is that sticky, whitish thing that you expel or you ejaculate. So sperms are actually microscopic, and like I said earlier, it is found in the semen. So Oxytocin, what it does is it kind of makes the semen, pushes the semen closer to the cervix and have it stick at the entrance of the cervix so that the sperms can easily find your way right into the slight opening in the cervix. So that is where the race, the long life race starts. Someone once said, and I quote, the person said that right from inception of life, right from sperm cell, there have been violence. There have been violence, and it will shock you to know the kind of violence I'm talking right now. It's beyond trying to be the first to get to the egg. It's beyond that. It will actually surprise you as we continue with this video that the egg kind of destroys some sperm at a point. I don't want to rush anything, so just let's take it slow but steady. So, funny enough, some sperm die at the entrance of the cervix. Then other sperms continue. So they continue, they swim past the uterus and then go to the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is where eggs released are actually found. So eggs that have been released, that's if this woman in question is in her ovulation period. Ovulation means egg released. So if she is in her ovulation period, that means there is an egg in the fallopian tube waiting for a sperm to fertilize it. And remember, in an average woman, one egg at every ovulation period. So in an ovulation period, one egg is released from the side of the fallopian tube. Then in another ovulation period, one egg is released. So, unless in people that have the ability to give birth to twins, that is when two eggs can be released at the same time, but it doesn't happen all the time. So now, let's bring it home. So, thousands of sperm swim towards an egg, just one egg. Whoa. So they swim towards an egg, and that is where the main work actually starts. So the egg has lots of layers covering and protecting it. That particular outer layer you see is not where fertilization actually takes place. So that outer part is more like the protective layer of the egg. So what the sperm does is all of them, like the thousands of them, are swimming, coming closer, and the ones that are quite closer, they latch on the egg, the outer layer of the egg. Now they go past the corona radiata. But before I continue, there is such a thing as binding receptor. This binding receptor instigates the release of the protein that is found in the head of the sperm. I said it earlier, if you were following me. This protein, we have the acrosil, we have the hyaluronidase, there are way too much. I cannot even pronounce all of them. Some of them sound like those drugs in pharmacology that I cannot pronounce till today. Ding, yeah. So these proteins can now be released because of that binding receptor. So these proteins are released, and that is even where the tail of the workmanship of the tail is needed the most. So the tail needs to keep draining. If it was going this way before they got to the layer of egg, at that point where they have gotten to the layer of egg and these proteins found in the head of the sperm are released, the tail has to drill better than it has ever drilled before. So now these proteins make it easier to degenerate the outer layer of the egg. This outer thick layer, it degenerates the outer layer, and the tail keeps drilling, and the head keeps pushing, and the protein are being released even the more. So after the corona radiata, the zone of pellucidum, and after all the crazy layers, we get to that particular precious area where fertilization can actually take place. So the first sperm, I say it again, the first sperm that is able to pitch into that fertilization room, that area that fertilization can occur. Men and brethren, once that sperm pokes its head in there, what happens is that the egg secretes a chemical that stops penetration from other sperm that are outside the egg still coming in. Now watch the whole process. I come again. Now once the first sperm pokes its head inside the fertilization room of the egg itself releases a chemical, and this chemical, what it does is it stops or it waits off other sperm that are outside the egg. So these sperm that are outside the egg can no longer come close to the egg. It's kind of a repulsive chemical. Do not come close to me. That's what happens. So you'll be like, okay, then what of the other sperms that are already in close contact, that are already in the corona radiata and trying to enter the zona pellucidum? What of those ones? We have CAM. Now those sperms that are in that particular position, what happens to them is, should I tell you? I have to tell you the truth. I have to tell you the truth. What happens is that the egg kind of strangles them, kind of holds them, and the egg is like, no leave, no transfer. Stay where you are. That's it. So it kind of locks them. They cannot go in anymore. They cannot go in further. They cannot go out. So it means one thing: those sperms are going to die there. Now, another question that may be in your head is, okay, what of those sperm that it has weighed off, but they are still in the uterus, or are they excreted later? Do they come out as urine? Do they come out as discharge? No, they won't come out as discharge per se. What happens is that the reproductive system of the woman will use that particular sperm as nourishment for her soul. I'm sounding so but no, I'm trying to make you understand. The reproductive system of the woman is definitely going to use that. It's going to use that sperm and nourish itself. So that's the reason why, if you're having sex and you are not getting pregnant, maybe you are using some techniques not to get pregnant, but actually sperm is entering inside of your vagina, I will know. I will find you out. If I look at you, I'll see it. Yes. So leave that one. So now we come to attaining quality, or how, because I said something earlier that the way your sperm is, the way the protein in your sperm is, determines if your wife can actually have a baby, or if your wife can actually sustain a baby. Some people, their wife miscarries their baby, not because their wives are witches, but it's because they don't know how to take care of their sperm. So their wife will always miscarry a baby. Now, these proteins in the sperm are very important. some people you may not hear this anywhere else, but I'm giving it to you on a platter of gold. These proteins are very important because the proteins present in a sperm determines whether this sperm will be able to go right into an egg. Although there are some natural occurrences where a sperm is without these proteins, and what I mean is genetic disorders, which is quite understandable. But there are some people that have brought it upon themselves. They live sedentary lifestyle. They eat food that they should not eat. They drink alcohol. They smoke. They do things that are so unimaginable. The laptop, they place it on their lap. If you're a man and you use laptop and you place it on your lap, please, as you're watching this video, repent. Get a table for crying out loud. Radioactive elements can actually disfigure your sperm cells. Yes, there are sperm cells that have two heads. There are sperm cells that have two tails. There are sperm cells that does not have nippies. How can those kind of abnormal sperm cell fertilize an egg? It doesn't work that way. So I am saying this with so much fire in my heart because I know that this is a topic of concern. So now you have sperm cells that are not healthy. You have sperm cells that does not contain the necessary protein. How can such sperm cell give the actual chromosomal ability or chromosomal quality that is needed for making and retaining a baby in the uterus? So you see why miscarriage can equally occur. So it's not all miscarriages that we say is the woman that did not carry the virus. Sometimes it's you and your sperm. Yes. So that's by the way. See, I want to urge us all to be very careful. Maybe I'm gonna do a video on retaining the quality of a sperm, how to retain it, how it can actually be very poor and all whatnot. So